we are making good progress. The economy grow.
For millions of Filipino families, the dream has always been straightforward. Better jobs, stable incomes, food prices that don't outpace the paycheck, a future where children are no longer forced to board planes in search of opportunity their own country could not give them. That dream now rests on a single national milestone, becoming an upper middle income country.
Forward to the implementation of several bilateral agreements in culture, energy transition, legal cooperation, artificial intelligence, and digital economy, the improvement of government activities.
Under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., this ambition has been pulled out of the background of policy debates and placed at the very heart of the country's economic strategy, a commitment to lift the nation into a higher income bracket before his term draws to a close. And for the first time in decades, that goal looks genuinely within reach. In Manila, government officials continue to project confidence, insisting that even as global instability deepens, the country can still hold its line toward upper middle income status. But just as the Philippines edges closer to this historic moment, the world itself is entering one of its most uncertain chapters in years. Wars are driving oil prices upward. Supply chains are tightening under mounting strain. And economic forecasts that once read with quiet confidence are beginning to shift beneath the surface. What once looked like a straight road forward now appears crowded with obstacles. So the question stands. Will the Philippines rise into the middle income ranks under Marcos? Or will the turbulence sweeping the global economy push the dream just beyond reach? Only a few months ago, the Philippines carried the look of a country on a steady economic climb. Growth was strong, consumer spending was rising, and across markets and ministries alike, there was a quiet confidence that the country could sustain the pace needed to carry it into middle-income territory. But lately, the forecasts have started to tell a more cautious story. According to the Asian Development Bank, the Philippine economy is now projected to expand by just 4.4% in 2026, a meaningful downgrade from the earlier outlook of 5.3%. And the caution doesn't end there. The International Monetary Fund goes a step further, suggesting growth could ease even more, settling closer to 4.1%. On paper, these shifts may appear modest, but in the language of economics, even a single percentage point carries heavy consequences. It can translate into thousands of jobs that never get created, wages that rise more slowly than the cost of living, and fewer openings for families still trying to work their way out of poverty. Yet beneath the slowing growth figures, another pressure is quietly taking shape. Inflation. Prices are expected to climb by around 4%, pushed upward in large part by rising global energy and commodity costs. And for ordinary households, the impact is far from abstract. Higher transport fares, more expensive food at the market, and savings that erode just a little more with every passing month. To be clear, the Philippine economy is still moving forward, but the momentum is no longer building. And when growth loses speed at precisely the wrong moment, national ambitions, however close they may appear, can quietly begin to slip out of reach. The greatest threats to the Philippine economy may not rise from within the country at all. They may be taking shape thousands of kilometers away. Across the Middle East, deepening conflict has thrown global energy markets into a state of unease, lifting oil prices upward and sending quiet shockwaves rippling through the wider global economy.
We are sure by yung Petron can supply the market up to June 30 minimum. Pero we keep buying crude oil. I'm assuring public na we will never run out of supply. Kaya huwag ko kayo magpanic. And I promise the public we will not take advantage on this fuel crisis.
And for the Philippines, this matters far more than many realize. The country depends heavily on imported fuel, which means that every upward jolt in oil prices travels swiftly through the bloodstream of its economy. Transport becomes more expensive. Food prices begin to climb. Factories face mounting production costs. And businesses, many already cautious, start to pull back on their spending, sensing the pressure building from every direction.
Sa lahat ng pagkakataon, sa lahat ng okasyon, ang Pilipinas ay laging sincere sa pakikipag-usap, pakikipagnegosasyon, lalong-lalo na sa pamumuno po ni Pangulong Marcos Jr. Wala po siyang secret deal.
The Marcos administration moved decisively, declaring a national energy emergency and rolling out fuel subsidies, tax suspensions, and targeted assistance designed to soften the blow on ordinary households. Yet even the most resolute domestic measures can only do so much, because no policy, however well crafted, can fully insulate a nation from the tremors of a global shock. Across Asia, the picture is turning more sober as well, with regional growth forecasts now expected to ease to around 5.1%. And this, in truth, is the reality of a deeply interconnected world. When energy markets tremble, economies far from the front lines feel the weight of it. And for countries like the Philippines, where imported fuel powers the rhythm of daily life, every distant crisis eventually arrives with a domestic price tag. For millions of Filipino families, the economy is not something measured in percentages or projected in forecasts. It is measured in remittances. Every year, millions of overseas Filipino workers leave home, rarely by choice, and almost always by necessity. They leave behind parents, children, husbands and wives, and in exchange for that painful distance, they send money back. Money that quietly keeps households running, keeps children in classrooms, and keeps food on the family table. In 2025 alone, Filipinos working abroad sent home more than $35 billion, a sum equal to roughly 7% of the country's entire economy. But behind that lifeline lies a quieter vulnerability. More than 17% of those remittances flow in from workers based in the Middle East, a region now sliding deeper into instability. And if conflict widens, if businesses shutter their doors, if workers see their contracts cut short, the fallout will not stop at distant borders. It will travel all the way home. Parents struggling to meet tuition deadlines. Families postponing medical care they can no longer delay. Households quietly trimming even the most basic needs from the monthly budget. For decades now, remittances have stood as one of the Philippines' most enduring economic lifelines. But in an era defined by global uncertainty, even the strongest lifelines can begin to fray. The Philippines is not running this race alone. Across Southeast Asia, several nations are pursuing the same horizon: stronger economies, sharper infrastructure, and rising standards of living. But some are pulling ahead. Take Vietnam. Over the past decade, Vietnam has quietly reinvented itself into one of Southeast Asia's fastest rising manufacturing powerhouses. Global corporations have poured billions into its factories, exports have surged at a remarkable pace, and industrial growth has climbed year after year. And for many international investors, Vietnam has become a destination of choice, offering speed, efficiency, and production costs that are hard to match. Then there is Indonesia. Backed by a massive population and an extraordinary wealth of natural resources, Indonesia has steadily expanded its infrastructure while fortifying its domestic industries. New highways, modern ports, and sprawling industrial zones have gradually reshaped the country's entire economic landscape. And unlike many smaller economies in the region, Indonesia carries an added advantage: a vast internal market that generates steady, self-sustaining demand. And finally, Malaysia. Already classified as an upper-middle income country, Malaysia has spent decades carefully constructing a strong industrial base, modern infrastructure, and an increasingly advanced manufacturing sector. For the Philippines, these comparisons are not just academic. Because the race toward middle-income status is never won on domestic growth alone, it is won by keeping pace with the neighbors running beside you. And when other countries move faster, investment flows toward them, jobs follow them, and opportunities quietly drift in their direction. The Philippines, to its credit, is still very much in the race, but the distance between ambition and competition is becoming harder to overlook. Facing steady pressure from every direction, at home and abroad, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has placed economic transformation squarely at the heart of his administration. His strategy rests on a clear and deliberate belief that infrastructure, investment, and targeted reforms can carry the Philippines into the ranks of upper-middle-income economies. At the center of this plan lies a sweeping drive to modernize the country's infrastructure. New highways, deep water ports, rail networks, and agricultural supply corridors are being pushed to the top of the national agenda. Each designed to connect cities, accelerate trade, and steadily lower the cost of doing business across the archipelago. In parallel, the Marcos administration has moved to draw in foreign investors by cracking open key sectors to far greater participation. Industries such as telecommunications, shipping, railways, and renewable energy are now being repositioned as strategic gateways, channels for long-term capital and sustained economic expansion. But growth, on its own, is never enough. As global prices climb, the government has also widened its social protection programs, rolling out fuel subsidies and direct financial assistance aimed at cushioning ordinary citizens from the steady rise in the cost of living. Senior officials continue to project confidence, insisting that despite mounting global uncertainty, the Philippines can still cross into upper-middle income status within Marcos's term. Yet history offers a sobering reminder. Ambitious plans rarely succeed on vision alone. They succeed on execution. And in an era marked by deepening global instability, execution becomes harder than it has ever been. Even as new roads rise from the ground and investments continue to flow in, another challenge is quietly taking shape beneath the surface. One that will shape the country's future just as powerfully. And it is a challenge that cannot be solved with concrete or steel. Human capital. Across the Philippines, the gaps in education remain a deepening concern. Many students continue to fall short of expected learning benchmarks, even as employers across industries keep raising the same complaint: a persistent shortage of skilled workers. At the same time, youth unemployment remains stubbornly elevated, leaving far too many young Filipinos stepping into adulthood without a clear or stable path forward. And this, in turn, creates a dangerous imbalance. Businesses need skilled workers. Workers need stronger training. And when education and industry drift apart, productivity inevitably begins to stall. For President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., this may prove the most difficult challenge of all, because even the most ambitious infrastructure project cannot deliver lasting returns without a workforce prepared to sustain it. And history offers a sobering warning. Many nations have reached a point where growth quietly loses momentum, not because of a shortage of investment, but because their workforce was never equipped to move into higher value industries. Economists have a name for this moment: the middle income trap. A stage where countries find themselves stuck, unable to climb from basic growth into advanced economic development. And if the Philippines' education and skills gaps remain unresolved, the country risks constructing its infrastructure faster than it builds the capabilities to match. And in the end, that imbalance could quietly decide just how high the Philippines is able to rise. The Philippines stands at one of the most consequential turning points in its modern history. For decades, the country has pursued a single quiet ambition: to rise into the ranks of upper-middle-income economies. It is a milestone that carries the promise of stronger industries, rising wages, and a steadier life for millions of families who have waited generations for it.
Ang pinakamabilis at direktang mararamdaman ng ordinaryong Pilipino, hindi bukas, hindi sa susunod na linggo.
Under President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., that goal has drifted closer than at any point before. Infrastructure is expanding, investment reforms are steadily taking shape, and senior officials continue to insist that middle-income status can still be reached within this administration's term. But the road forward is no longer a clear one. Growth forecasts are softening. Distant conflicts are driving costs higher. Remittance flows are entering uncertain territory. Regional competitors are pressing ahead with growing speed. And deep structural weaknesses, particularly in education and workforce readiness, remain stubbornly unresolved. On their own, none of these pressures may be enough to halt the country's progress. But together, they are building tension at the very moment when momentum matters most. The Philippines is not falling behind, but it is no longer sailing through calm waters either. And as the country edges closer to one of the most defining economic milestones of its modern era, a single question now lingers over the horizon. Will the Philippines rise into the ranks of middle-income nations under Marcos? Or will global instability hold the dream just out of reach, even as it draws near enough to touch? The answer may shape far more than the legacy of a single presidency. It may shape the future of an entire generation. If this story gave you a clearer picture of where the Philippines truly stands and the forces quietly shaping its future, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next stories redefining our world. Share your thoughts in the comments, because every perspective matters, especially in moments like this one.